Buenas noches, damas y caballeros. Muchísimas gracias por estar con nosotros a esta hora, las 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, con sus amigos reportando elegible, reporting eligible for all that those that don't know. We just went into a little Spanish rant. Why not? Why not? Just to have fun with the masses. But thank you so very much, everybody, for joining us this evening, 9:30, as you already know. We are here slotted in for this time. And we open the show with some breaking news coming out of Atlanta. As you see the ticker right there at the bottom, right there, ladies and gentlemen, Falcons have reached an agreement with we already knew, center Ryan Uziel, 2-year, $9.5 million contract, $6.25 million included in this deal, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Uziel started 8 games for us last year, as we all know, once Drew Dahlman went down after that New Orleans Saints game, and filled in admirably. And really, I didn't see too much of a drop-off in this Falcons offense. Falcons were able to still do, what they did much of last year, throw the ball around, be efficient in the run game. And Uziel obviously had a hand in that. The snaps were pretty consistent. We didn't have a lot of those low snap trajectories that we were suffering with Drew Dahlman, and also plays too. He's a left-handed snapper, so that might be, something to look out for with Michael Penix Jr. being in lefty. But enough from me. Bro Talk, how'd you feel about that when the news broke, man?
Bueno, estaba muy feliz. Estaba feliz. Estaba feliz. Oh, my bad. All right, yeah. We're not a Spanish show. Not a Spanish show tonight. No, I was, kind of like you said, we knew what was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. He was showing up to voluntary workouts. He's there at OTAs. You had to think like, well, if he hasn't signed the tender, they got to be working out something, right? And it was a little bit of a pay bump from the tender price. 2 years. Initially, you and I talked backstage. You told me it was 2 years. I thought it was 1. So I was like, oh, even better. So this, if it works out, great. But, the Falcons are prepared for it, for it not to work out because it's such a low cost, high reward signing. And, much like you said, 8 games, there was chemistry built with the offensive line with him there, lefty to lefty, no snapping issues. He's not Drew Dahlman, but he's damn near close, right? Mm-hmm. He's damn near close for someone that was an undrafted rookie coming into the league and worked his way through it. I think we're going to be okay. I think, and if it really works out, that's even better because then we have a 2-year cushion to really then focus on the future at the position.
Correct. Some good stuff there. And obviously moving away from the breaking news situation, OTAs finally opened up. A lot of news coming out of Atlanta, and I shouldn't say a lot, but some snippets really, and shout out to all the creators that are down there, Joe Patrick, Daniel Flick, and guys that are just really keeping us in tune with what's going on in Atlanta. We definitely appreciate you guys and what you guys do. We just saw more of a relaxed atmosphere. We saw Michael Penix throwing the ball around, connecting with Drake London, connecting with Ray McLeod and Darnell Mooney and such. Bijan Robinson getting in on the action. I know the focal point has been mainly defense because I think 2025 it's the year of the defense for the Falcons and what we can do, right? But we should not, ignore what we got going on in 2024, to build off what we had in 2024, now on to 2025. Zac Robinson's second year as our offensive coordinator, which we'll touch on that momentarily. But, just your reaction, like, what you see, would you like, from the clips that were provided in OTAs?
Unfortunately, we didn't get to see a lot of 11 on 11. We'll have to wait till training camp to really get to see, formations, who's aligning where. It was funny to see the initial reaction of, D. Alford starting out there at nickel. Not Billy Bowman, like much of us think will be the starter. Jalen Walker wasn't the starter either, but he rotated in. James Pierce didn't work with the 11 because he was working off to the side, for whatever reason. It's just funny. Guys, this is voluntary OTAs. Let's not overreact. This is more to just get the guys back into football conditioning, get reacclimated to wearing the helmet, the rookies understanding how they practice. I think once training camp starts, that's where you'll truly see what's going on. So, I mean, it's fun. We get to see them in their helmets. Hey, shout out admin team. We still love you, even though you just had an oops moment.
Oh boy,
everybody makes mistakes. Okay, we still love you. Okay?
Oh shoot,
Can you
man.
please stop giving everyone else around the NFL material? It can't be from us.
Yeah, right. Man, I think you're referencing the Mike Ford and Jesse Bates photo.
Initially, hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. Initially, I didn't notice it. I was like, what's the big deal? And then someone's like, bro, look at the numbers. And I was like, oh my God. Does that mean I'm healed, Berto? Does that mean I'm healed?
I think so. If you caught to it late, I think you've gotten past that.
I was like, what's the big deal, man? It's Jesse Bates and Mike Ford flexing,
Yeah, that's all it is. The picture went hard, but I guess it's the numbers, and history has it. Screw it. I live in this area. I'm so fucking over that. It's like it's not even funny, man. Oh man, but of course, this this show can't go on without us saying what's up to the folks in the chat. We got our brother Dwayne Ruffin from sunny SoCal. What's going on, fam? Revive Denied. What's happening? Rod is in the building. J Real 404. Our brother Tony Wright is in the building. Rod, show wouldn't be a show without our guy Jones Bones in the house, man. T Terry, what's going on? Carrie, what it do? What is going on? Yes, I'm doing very well. I am sure that Bro Talk is as well. We appreciate Carrie and all her content that she puts out through X. And Loki, she just knows what she's talking about. So you definitely got to appreciate that. My guy Bino, what's going on, brother? What's going on? But yes, the theme of tonight's show, we're talking offense. And, it's a, portion where we're going to dissect. We're going to talk a little bit about certain things in this Atlanta Falcons offense, more particularly with our offensive coordinator here, Zac Robinson, man. The 38-year-old has really brought a different aura to the Atlanta Falcons culture, man. Just an innovative way of dicing up plays, calling plays, getting a lot of our playmakers really entrenched. We saw them reap the benefits. We saw Drake London with career highs, Darnell Mooney almost eclipsing 1,000 yards. We saw a unsung hero, some may call him, Ray McLeod, posting for almost 700 yards in this offense. A guy that lives and breathes by the 11 personnel. For those that don't know, 1 running back, 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers. So, Bro Talk, in year 2 of this Zac Robinson offense, is there things that Zac can do to, just evolve in his play calling? Is there things that he can do, a little bit better going forward into 2025?
Yeah. So if you haven't checked out, Zac Robinson's interview on the Sam Monson show with a couple of those 33rd team guys, he really talks about what offensive coordinators go through and the game plan. He talks about how first and second down, it's usually scripted, right? They look at film, what are the tendencies in this personnel grouping? What are the tendencies, for this concept, this, that, and the other. And then third and fourth down is more situational, where he really has to dive in and say, okay, what do I want to do here? And I think that's really where he can improve on. Situational football, when it's third and short, third and medium, and if it's fourth and short and fourth and medium, that's where I really think he can improve on top of his red zone play calling. Now, I'm not going to put all blame last year on him. I think some of it was player execution. But you kind of expect that learning a new offense. And now going into year 2, I'm definitely looking for a higher conversion rate in the red zone, less field goals, more touchdowns. And then same thing, more third down conversions, especially with our new QB1 there. That playbook does open up more. And Zac touched on that more, how he can definitely add more to the playbook, and he even held back last year because he didn't want to overload not just QB1, but the rest of the offensive players.
In certain situations last year, run splits for the Falcons 44 to 57, to 56. So Falcons really a throw-in style team first. Some offensive some offensive ranks from 2024. Falcons ranked 6th in that department, averaging 369 offensive yards per game. Passing yards ranking 5th with 239 passes on average. And this is where we may see an uptick, because we know that Michael Penix can throw the ball around him. Zac Robinson spoke highly of him. He can hit every point of the field. We know that from UW, he comes from a spread style offense. A lot of 11 personnel ran in that time with, all the skill players that they had. Michael Penix, no, stranger to the 4,000 mark, threw for well over 4,500 yards. So, I mean, is this now? Are we going to see really like the throwing element of this offense come to life even more? We got just a small glimpse, a small sample, in 3 games with Penix, but now a full year. Do you feel like Zac is ready to just open up the playbook for Penix going into year 2?
Absolutely. The way he talks about him, how he views the field, and how and then same thing with TJ Yates, his quarterback coach, is the vision that he sees on the field, how he can know where everyone is. Yeah, I think they have the confidence in him. Now, the one question I have is he going to be the one handling protections as far as checking them mid-game, or is that going to fall on Ryan Nuzeel, or is Chris Lindstrom going to take that on? So that's the one thing that I'm looking at is like, okay, who's going to be responsible for that? Because I think Drew and Kirk kind of worked together last year, early in the year, but I think Drew was the focal point on pass protection checks. I could be wrong, but I'm looking at it because Michael Penix is viewed as not only a strong arm, big body, can make the throws, smart guy. Yeah. Smart guy, and I think he can indulge the playbook. Now, I will say, to go back to Jones Bones' comment is much like a rookie Matt Ryan and a young Matt Ryan, you got to rely heavily on the run game to just ease him. Don't put the full pressure on them, even if you feel like he can take on the load. Raheem, right? I'm going to reference this. Everybody likes to slam dunk on Raheem Morris. Raheem got too comfortable with Michael Penix's maturity to not call that timeout in Washington, right? Sometimes you just need to step in and say, hey, he's not doing what I think he's going to do. Let me step in. So that's that's where Zac is going to have to really help Michael, because there will be some growing pains. Michael will make mistakes, but I don't think he's going to make very many. I think people really are still sleeping on QB1.
Yeah. QB1 in this run game that ranked top 10 in the NFL, and in good company too. 7 out of the top 10 teams this past year were all playoff teams, and Atlanta really not too far off. So running the ball still is an essence. So obviously have to bring it up, right? Bijan Robinson, our do-it-all running back, but there's another guy that should be utilized more in order to I think it's an ineffective, inefficient tandem. I mean, Tyler Algier, 644 yards rushed last year. No slouch in his game. He's a former 1,000-yard runner in his own right. So what's your perfect blend for these two guys? I know we spoke about, kind of what they did in Detroit, with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, but this is a different skill set that we have here in Atlanta. Sure, it mirrors in some way, but completely different. Do you see Atlanta finally waking up, or Zac waking up and saying, I think, we should, silly to say, maybe let's scale back a little bit on Bijan so he's effective more towards the end of the year, or in more meaningful games like playoffs. Let's feature Tyler a little bit more. Let's give this kid a run, man, because as we all know, he's going into his last year, possibly in Atlanta. We don't know if we will re-sign him, but obviously he's gonna, showcase his worth. And at that point, we're thinking compensatory picks the following year after that. So your thoughts, right quick?
Yeah, in a perfect world, I think we're looking at anywhere from a 60-40 split to a 70-30, but just up the touches a little bit for Tyler, because not just his bruising, he's got great vision, and he can make that cut and get north very quickly. And he averages, I think, 4.7 yards per carry. He's one of the best runners, effective runners. And he's not going to go down out at first contact. Very rare that you can bring him down with the first tackler, and he makes you pay, right? And you see it translate from his time playing linebacker at BYU to running back. Like, he knows just how to hit you. And not to say Bijan can't do it, it's just not his running style, right? He's more light on his feet. He's willing to be patient and let people run by him. So then the creases and the alleys, they open up for him. So a little bit more mixture. And I kind of like the idea of, feeding the hot hand, right? If Tyler's hot, feed him, right? Keep that man eating. And then, towards the end of the game, when you're looking to close it out, hey, Bijan's your guy, right? pass protection, catching out of the backfield. That's another thing I want Zac to improve on. Is Bijan's ability. Give me a freaking Texas route or some actual running back screens out of the backfield, some play action running back screens. Get those guys screaming up the field and let Bijan work, right? You get Bergeron and Nuziel or Lindstrom and McGarry in front with just deep. Come on, dude. You see, you're a 5'11", 190-pound DB. You see McGarry 6'70", 310 coming at you. I mean, you just got to fall down at that point, right? And that's clearing the way in a sense, right? So those are the types of things. I'm tired of the bubble screens, right? I'm tired of the wide receiver screens. There's a time and a place. Like, don't take it away, but be more effective. More mix up. And then again, to Bones' credit, right? Sticking with the running back, you got to update the running scheme. Quit letting Dwayne Ledford say, this is what we're going to run. Because actually, I was putting together a Tyler Algier cut up throughout the years. We ran power. We ran gap scheme under Arthur Smith.
Yeah.
So we can do this here.
Yep.
Why
with
are we
personnel
not doing
that we
it?
have?
Exactly. We have the maulers. We have the athletes. So that's another thing. The flow of the run game, married with the play action, married with the pass game. Like Zac really does have to make a jump because yes, there were some great spots. The offense showed flashes, especially when Michael Penix took over. But there's still a lot of meat left on the bone that Zac has to get after.
Yeah. For me too, a lot dial back on the Charlie Warner crackback, blocks, because I think those were predictable in certain instances, right?
Yes.
You have now a 17 game worth of film out there where teams are gonna just study tendencies. Sure, there were teams last year that just were well equipped to stop the outside zone, right? And that's one metric that I wish Atlanta would just scale back on a little bit, and I think feature more of that power. To your point, Arthur Smith. We were running a variation of those plays, and we ran it with great success. We have the bruisers at the running back position. Why not? So moving away from that, let's focus a little bit more on the passing, right? There are elements last year in the passing game that hindered us, right? Play action, the naked bootlegs or bootlegs themselves. That really will not be a problem this year. I don't foresee.
And I think also to add to your point, there was a little bit of repetitiveness
in
the passing concept. So again, much like the Charlie Warner thing, the passing concepts became predictable.
They did. Falcons suffered in the play action department. They were close to one of the worst teams in the NFL in that metric. Really couldn't. And that was obviously the limitations that Kirk was playing throughout the year last year. Achilles still, recovering from that. And then, by the way, half of my shoulder's gone. And didn't say a damn thing, man. So, but with Penix, I don't think that's going to be a problem. And there's a lot of people that may say, we don't have the burner. And I don't mean to sound like a broken record. I've said this before on Twitter. You don't need a burner, to operate successful play action offense. You don't need one. You just need somebody with good average speed. Darnell Mooney, 4.38 guy. Drake Shaw runs in the high 4.5s, but it could happen. Bijan could be a factor in that as well. That's 4.3 speed coming out of the backfield, or even as OTAs was showing, he was lining up as some wide receiver. So are we starting to see possibly something else growing in Atlanta in that, coming off of that style of offense? Is it a possibility? I would like to think it is. Your thought?
As far as Bijan lining up at receiver, sprinkle it in every so often. I think it's great. But him coming out of the backfield on like a choice route or a Texas route where he makes cuts so effectively and can sell certain things, I think that's where he'll be most effective, right? Getting him in that mismatch, right? We talk about matchups. And I agree with you. You don't need a burner, right? Puka Nacua, it's not a burner. No. Cooper Kupp, prime Cooper Kupp, not a burner.
Not even.
But guess what? Coming from the McVay offense, there were openings, there were voids in the defense. The Rams last year, I pointed this out. They played the Vikings, right? Brian Flores' defense, unstoppable.
Yeah,
right?
Unstoppable.
Yeah, right. Puka Nacua was killing them with the dig routes all game. It was just the middle of the field was opening because the play action was so effective, right? Matthew Stafford can still move around a little bit. So yeah, opening it up with Michael Penix, dude, I can't wait. And all these other fan bases chiming in like, oh, we don't know about Michael, we don't know enough about Michael Penix. What about the injury history? Like, what about this? What about that? Like, bro, you guys want to vouch for JJ McCarthy as Jay Jettas, Jordan Addison, offensive line that we just revamped. By the way, those guys haven't played a snap together. I think the only two remaining starters is the right tackle O'Neal and then Darisaw, who's coming off an ACL. The interior is completely revamped. So will it work out? I don't know. On paper, you can say it is, but hey, our offensive line has been working with Penix. Our guys are the same. Our receivers are the same. Our running backs better. Our 2 running backs are better than the running backs in medicine. Like, come on, man. I made a whole video about being hypocritical. Keep the same energy. If you say you don't know about Michael Penix, okay, you don't know about JJ McCarthy either. You could even say that about Drake May, because Drake May, I think, will be good, but he showed he could be bad. But hey,
we just don't know. I think too, a lot of analysts, fans, beat writers, content creators, you name it, when they talk play action and they think burner, I think a lot of people fell in love with what Ben Johnson did with Jameis Williams last year. That metric, you see what Mike McDaniel does down in Florida, but we're not equipped to that. And again, that just proves to my point, you don't need burners when you have really a success pattern with how the Rams do it. And then, oh, by the way, we've run some variations of that offense here and there.
I would rather, instead of a burner receiver, I would have a receiver that knows how to run routes and sell them. Because once you get a DB committed a certain way and you can cut the other, like Drake does very well, and like our great Julio Jones used to do, right? Everyone always thought it was a go. They didn't know where he was going because he was so good at selling it. And Julio was fast, but he wasn't a burner, right? Man. That's what you need, is effective route running. I'd rather take effective route runners over a burner, Because what is Tyreek Hill without his speed? Mid. Right? I'm just saying.
Oh boy. I'm hoping nobody clips that from a Miami content creator.
I know. Let them clip them. I'm ready for the smoke. I don't care.
Oh man. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. So, we could flip flop this next segment because it has to be, it's player driven. But I'm gonna go with this one here. Do Drake and Bijan exceed expectations in 2025? We saw our very own Drake kind of take off in this new offense from Zac. Posting up some career best numbers, 1,200 plus receiving yards, close to double-digit touchdowns or double-digit touchdowns. What we did see was a lot of movement within the scheme with Drake. But more importantly, that what do you call it? That big slot. That's the new thing, right? The big slot. And he lined up 39% of the snaps in that. That's where he saw the most of his success. Could you see Drake now, taking another step in this offense under Zac? Or is there a concern, perhaps, that he's put too much out for teams to study and start locking in on it?
Nah, man.
Okay.
People are still sleeping on Drake, but
man.
I think Drake is going to put everyone on notice again.
What's up, brother?
I think man, put them on notice. I'm expecting, another top 5 in receiving yards, possibly a top 5 in touchdowns. Like, if you're a fantasy football player, you better be drafting Drake London in the first 2 rounds. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, he is going to put up some career numbers with Michael Penix Jr. and the offense opening up. He is going to be what Puka Nacua is for LA. That's how important he is, and that's how much he's going to get fed. I love Darnell Mooney. He's going to get his touches. Ray sprinkled in a little bit, but it's the Drake London show in the passing game. That's what it's going to be. And yes, I think the expectations are low, which is good. We want low expectations so that way we can blow it out of the water.
Now, Bijan. Now, we talked a little bit about the running aspect, maybe utilizing him more in the passing department. His rookie year saw him for well over 487 yards. Year 2, around 430 plus receiving yards. Could Bijan get more looks now? Is there a possibility that we see just a small dip in his rushing stats and a little uptick in the receiving? Zac does like to spread the ball around. And with so many pass catchers, hate to bring up a certain name, but this unsaid individual did it great in 2015 and 2016. Not going to name him by name. We're just going to name him. We're just going to call him the coordinator at the time. There's a lot of bad blood. And if you guys have been listening to the Legacy podcast,
I thought you were going to go.
No, man. Yeah, if you guys have been tuning into the Legacy podcast, Harry Douglas, Julio Jones, Roddy White, excellent conversation those guys were having. A lot of good stuff in there, but Zach can very well do the same thing with the amount of pass catchers that we have, which warrants the question: could Bijan see an uptick in the receiving department and scale just a little bit? I say scale, and not to take away. I know a lot of us fans want to see the 2,000 plus, all-purpose situation, a la what Saquon did. But but sometimes we kind of got to just reel it back a little bit, especially when you got the amount of talent that we have, man. Have to, man. That's me. I got to protect my guy. Sorry.
This man saying, what? What is this man saying? As far as production goes.
Yeah, man.
As far as production goes, what did he have last year, total scrimmage yards? What was it? Hold on.
All right, look that up.
Hold on. Sorry. Please hold.
I think it's like 1,900 and some change or something.
Okay, like hold on. Was it?
I think so. I could be wrong.
All right, let's see. Mr. Bijan. Okay, regular season. 1,400, just under 1,500 rushing yards and 431. So, yeah, he's just under 2,000 scrimmage yards. 15 total touchdowns. Okay, you want to know, before I saw this is what I had in my mind.
Gotcha.
No doubt. I had him 2,000 scrimmage yards plus 18 plus touchdowns. That's the kind of year I think he's going to have. That's the kind of year I think. I think he's going to have a slight increase in his rushing yards, be more effective, right? Especially with the running game, if it opens up like it should. And then in the receiving game, like Zach, the game is Zach is talking about opening up the playbook, like it's Drake London and Bijan and Michael Penix Jr., the three-headed monster with an awesome supporting cast around them.
So let me ask you this. You say that, right? So who's the better runner in the inside, Tyler or Bijan?
Inside how?
Inside zone. Oh, power.
Like a power?
Yeah.
Bijan? Yes, because that's what they ran in Texas.
Okay.
Sark ran heavy power, and he can see. I mean, Tyler's going to be great at it, but Bijan's the better one. Now, as far as inside zone goes, give me Tyler. Outside zone, give me Bijan, right?
Bijan. Yeah, of course.
Right?
Speed.
Duo where you need that 1 or 2 yard. Yep. Give me Tyler, because sometimes Bijan likes to get a little, happy feet trying to find that little crease, maybe on the outside. Tyler's going to find that small void and go.
Yeah.
Right? And that's not a knock at Bijan. That's just their running styles. But as far as power goes, yeah, give me Bijan.
Fair. I love it. Folks in the chat, obviously, have their ones and twos to throw in. I love it. T. Terry says Bijan will have 2,200 yards, 1,600 yards rushing, and 600 yards receiving. That is very close to our enigma at the tight end position. And I say enigma, not unicorn. But Kyle Pitts, how does he factor into this offense going into 2025?
I don't know, man. You gotta get Professor X to hit Cerebro and find Kyle Pitts, because he's not even at voluntary OTAs. And hold on. I know what Jesse Palmer said. There's a foot injury, but hey, Guess what? You can still be there with your guys, right?
Yeah. And the word is he is in the building. He's just not. Yeah, he's not practicing, or he's out there. He's rehabbing whatever foot injury was going on. And I actually talked about Bijan today on my Bleacher Report at 6:00 live every Wednesday, Falcons Weekly Topical on the Bleacher Report app, talking about Kyle Pitts and what the expectation going into 2025 will be. And some of the things that that you got to highlight, take the thinking away from playing the game, was Zac Robinson saying that about Kyle and playing faster. So as you look at it, right, and knowing how the Rams utilize, and we keep harking on the Rams because obviously you have to make the connection. That's where Zac came from, where it wasn't really, a position of, you don't want to say need, but not one that's top tier, so to say, within their offensive scheme. And it's showing in Atlanta now. You look at his stats from last year. He had one breakout game, that national tight end game. And when you look at it, 91 yards, 2 TDs, you got to look back to 2021. This was the best stat that he had in well over 3 years. Time's ticking. Or has Cinderella hit, has that time come and he's turned into the pumpkin that we all thought he would? He was. I don't know, man. I can't call it, brother.
Man, make him Cinderella references. Hey, shout out Anthony White. Appreciate you with the super chat.
Gotta get him. Hold up.
So much.
Gotta get him. Got you. Thank you. I missed out on that one. This is great analysis as usual, fellas. Thank you so much, Anthony White. Always a great supporter. We definitely appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Appreciate you. So I'm going to dive into this, right? Because Bones poses a good question.
Got you.
What do you think Pitts needs to do to get re-signed in 2025? I'll tell you what. He needs to show me effort every single play. I'll tell you that much, right? Yeah. And he needs to, as the year progressed, I think he got better at his blocking.
Yeah.
That's where I really want to see him because, he gets the ball in his hands. Things can be special. Now, that's also on Zac, too, giving him those short routes, those quick throws that can get the ball in his hands and he can make something happen. I'm not looking at the stats. I'm looking at the player. Are you giving me effort every single play? Are you lollygagging on your chip blocks? What are we doing here? Are you, because Zac talked about how he was relearning the position. Berto, you brought this up.
Yeah.
Mid-season and at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Show me that you're progressing, and then we can talk numbers. But if it's the same old Kyle Pitts we've seen, hey, you know what? It just didn't work out. Good luck to you. I'm sure the Dallas Cowboys will be calling your phone.
Begs the question: does Kyle have more trade value now, or will he have more at the trade deadline? Obviously, we don't know because the numbers, the stats speak to that. But do the Falcons actually look at it this way? Look at it this way. Okay, he's having a decent season. He's putting up okay stats. Really not factoring too much into the offense. Time to trade him. Could you see something like that possibly happening where Kyle Pitts come week 8, week 9, which is creeping up into that trade deadline? The rumors start, swirling and the phone calls are being made. Is he available? Do the Falcons make him available?
I think Terry is really good at saying this. You're always going to take the call. Right. Okay. Let's talk. It may not be something I want, but let me hear what you have to offer. And if it's a great offer, you don't pass up on it. Right.
Yeah.
You take it. Right. Because Eric DeCosta, the Ravens GM, talks about it. The more picks you have, the more chances you have at landing franchise guys, great depth guys, great role players. This past season, we didn't have that, but Terry, and crew did a great job with the undrafted class, to where it felt like we had a bunch of picks. But if people are calling, and the same thing goes, he was a topic of discussion, a man that we don't want to see go, but most likely will, Mr. Tyler Algier, right? Teams that still need running back. I still think the Cowboys aren't set at running back. I always bring up the Cowboys because Jerry Jones, he loves to make trades, like lopsided trades. Why not take advantage of, the old brain that he has, right? Jonathan Mingo for a 4th-round pick? Like what? Okay, give me Tyler. I'll give you Tyler Algier for a 2nd rounder, Jerry. Good pleasure doing business with you, type deal. So it's the same thing for Kyle Pitts. Now, if he's producing, he's gelling well the offense, I think you hang on to him and then you start talking numbers. But I don't think he's going to earn top tight end money by any means. If anything, he'll sign a 1 more year deal and say, hey, 2025 wasn't a fluke. This is where I'm at. But again, you got to show me that you want to make more money, that you want to be a part of it, and if at that point, because if you think about it, our tight end room is not great, right? Besides, once you lose Kyle and you get to Charlie Warner, it's like, right? Mm-hmm. And we do run heavy 12 personnel sometimes. That game against Minnesota, we were running heavy 12 personnel. Mm-hmm. So you want the 2 tight ends, but hey, only time will tell. I'm kind of indifferent about Kyle Pitts. I was a believer. I've kind of lost that belief. Hard to say, right? Because I'm the optimistic one. But it's like at this point, I'm like, you got to show me, man. You got to show me at this point. It's year 5. And we're still having this discussion, 4 years later. Yes, your rookie year, you played with the future Hall of Famer at quarterback.
Exactly. Yes.
You were the only option, right? Julio was gone. Right. So you had to be fed. You had to be the focal point. Well, now you have someone that's a great arm talent that could potentially elevate your game, right? That's what we're looking for quarterbacks, to elevate the game of people around him.
And that's where he goes really into this season with the only consistency that he's had throughout his career. It's Michael Penix at quarterback going into year 2.
I mean,
as crazy as that is,
you can use that as a slight excuse, but at the same time, this is the NFL. Like, there are plenty of players that go through coaches, position coaches, and they still are able to produce,
That's fucking facts, man. That's absolutely, man. We're moving on to our last segment here.
Hold on, last thing. Go ahead. Terry makes a good point. I brought this up to Tyler Algier, who's the offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh, right? Caleb Johnson, the rookie, and then Jalen Warren. There's nothing saying that Caleb Johnson's going to work out. Arthur Smith, if he got the opportunity to tell Mike Tomlin, go get him, he would. So that's a great point. Pittsburgh would be someone, right? They're going to get Kirk, right? Eventually. Why not get to, I don't want Tyler to go. Let's set the record straight. I would love Tyler to stay here, but it's either you trade him or he gets his bag elsewhere. And, I'm going to be happy for him. He's one of those few Falcons, right, where you're just like, man, I hate to see you go. I'll always cheer you on.
Right.
Just don't go to the black and gold, please.
Man, oh, man. Players you expect to take a jump within this 2025 offense. I'll let you lead. What do you feel? Who do you think is that next player to take that jump in 2025 for our offense?
Oh, I'm going to give you not a skill position. I think it's Ryan Musial. Were you going to go there? Did I steal your thunder?
Oh, I'm going somewhere there, but Ryan Musial, okay, please.
Oh, I know where you're going now that you say
that.
Ryan Musial, backup, career backup, thrown into the fire because of the Drew Dahlman scenario. A couple times, he missed blocks, this, that, and the other. I just think he's going to be able to take the next step, going into this year, he's the guy. So he gets to get the reps with the ones against the ones.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And, we talk about it, right? Iron sharpens iron. Hey, Ruko Oro, that's not an easy task, especially being in an attacking front now. David Onyemata. Oh, you better hope Zach Harrison didn't kick into the 3 technique, because that's a whole problem. That's a big dog right there.
Yeah.
So, he's going to be able to prepare for, a good amount of players. I think he's going to be the one to take the next step.
Yeah. You already know where I'm going with this. I've been really high on this young man since he came out. Matthew Bergeron, I think, is on the cusp of being right alongside his counterpart there in Chris Lindstrom as a Pro Bowler. Hey, please come on in. Matthew Bergeron, come on.
The old lineman.
I love it, man. Well over 1,100 snaps last year, 3 sacks compared to his rookie year. Same plateau, more than 1,000 snaps, but gave up six sacks. Okay, you can expect that from a rookie, a rookie player. But what you did see was the ascension, the arrow pointing up consistently every week. Bergeron was getting better. Year 2, just this past year, last year, played great. Played well over 1,100 snaps, only 3 sacks. And when you look at the list, he's right there. He's on the cusp of being in that top 10, for guards
conversation and all that.
And you know what? Who's gonna suffer from success? Ryan Musial, because I think Matthew Bergeron, Chris Lindstrom made Drew Dahlman's job easier. You spoke on this highly. It made his job easy. I think this is a great problem to have in Atlanta. You got 2 studs on the interior. You get a guy like Musial who's just try to pick up really where he left off, but he's benefiting because he has 2 great ones side by each. And for me, the player that's gonna break out is Matthew Bergeron for me, bar none.
So I think this kid takes it. You're saying we're gonna have a first team All Pro right guard and a Pro Bowl left guard?
Book it, yeah.
Ooh, he said book it,
man, book it. It's gonna happen. It's going to happen, man. This
Question.
kid has transition.
A little off topic, right? Because we're talking about Pro Bowlers. Okay, I'm gonna go. And this is no by no means shade to any players, right? I'm just gonna give you a name. You either give me, nothing, Pro Bowler, All Pro. Okay. We're gonna start with the big boys. Caleb McGarry.
Nothing.
Chris Lindstrom.
All Pro.
Ryan Nuziel.
Not yet.
Matthew Bergeron.
Pro Bowl.
Jake Matthews.
Pro Bowl.
Ooh, that's some tough competition because in division, Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah. He can make it as an alternate. I just look at it this way. I think teams are really going to try to attack McGarry's side.
Yeah.
Giving Jake kind of a break, so to say, having to go on against the more elite pass rushers. While a lot of teams nowadays they have the pair, they have the tandem, of elite edge rushers. And Jake Matthews has stood the test, man. He's done, well still. But yeah, to your point, NFC South has a couple, or a couple good left tackles, and Tristan Wirfs, et cetera, and stuff like that. Not going to name any of the other players from the other divisions. I'll just give respect where respect is due. Tristan Wirfs is that guy. But the whole NFC conference itself, but I still think he can squeak one in, man. I really do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Drake London.
Oh, Pro Bowl.
Okay. Darnell Mooney.
Not yet.
Ray.
Oh, not yet. That's where it depends how he's utilized. Is he, special team, something like that? Wide receiver 3. Could he put up the same stat? There's a lot. So,
Kyle Pitts.
Next question.
Zac Robinson.
Oh, absolutely. All pro.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And then QB1, Michael Penix Jr.
Woo! I think he could do Pro Bowl in year 1. I think he could put up the numbers. I really do.
So you're saying we're gonna have potentially 2 All Pros.
Yep.
On offense, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 Pro Bowlers on offense.
Almost the same amount of primetime games we have, so book it.
It's like foreshadowing. And then, as Bones said, if Bergeron hits, sorry, Pitts, that's where your money's going, because guards are not cheap in the league anymore. That's
not
true.
anymore, man.
That's for sure.
Not anymore. Yeah, it's a lot of praise that we're handing out here. Some may say it's biased, but realistically, when you look at it, Falcons have a good core of young offensive players on tap. So why not us is always the attitude. Why the hell not?
It's all about the players. Of course, the coaches need to put them in the best situation possible, right? And the good thing is we're going to have a lot. I think almost every single coach that's on offense is coming back, with, a couple guys receiving some promotions. TJ Yates, I think, is now the pass game coordinator. DJ Williams, now the quarterback's coach. So all the same faces. So we can put them in the best situation. And then it's up to the players to execute as well, right? It's a marriage. Those teams that we saw, the 2012 team, the 2016 team that made that big leap and made those deep playoff runs, is because both of them married so well together and were able to make things happen because they were able to flow together. The coaches can do everything in their power to prepare them, but if the players don't execute, right, they're the ones on the field, not the players.
Rod, we certainly appreciate your time. We certainly appreciate the donation. Do you think Rod needs to play Penix in preseason to see how he gel? This is a good question.
You know what? I shake my finger, but I think if anything, Rod will do one series.
Has to. Yeah. Yeah. He has to, man.
Okay. Well, I don't think he has to, but I think he should. Maybe just one series. Get your feet wet, right? Especially if the other team is playing their ones a series, right? Get your feet wet. Get a series in. If you score, great. If you don't, oh well, on the bench for the rest of the preseason.
And I know it's a shaky subject because we suffered, we suffered defeats in preseason, losing DeMarco Helms, losing Braylon Trice.
Same game too
against Miami in the preseason opener last year. Obviously, that's still, we probably haven't recovered fully from those jitters. And you fast forward to now in this preseason, for me, you still have to. I feel like you have to do that. You gotta get QB1 out there to get his feet wet. You have to. You just have to, man. Raheem will fall into oncoming traffic before he plays.
Listen. I don't even.
That's good shit right there, man.
That's a good comment.
That's good shit right there.
Look, we're all in agreement. Should he do it? Yes. If we know Raheem like we do,
yeah, he's not.
He won't.
He's not, man.
He won't.
He's
right?
not.
So that, speaking of Raheem, I got a question for you. Where do you see Raheem take the next step as the head coach? Like, what do you want to see? Obviously, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, use your timeout." Like, that's the cliche one. Like,
yeah,
we know that, he knows that, right? But where do you see that Raheem can take the next head coach to be different, to not be another Arthur Smith, to not fizzle out like Dan Quinn did, right? What does he need to do?
Killer instinct. If you're ahead, stay ahead. If you're ahead, stay ahead, be ahead. Don't worry about any comebacks of any sorts. Just plain and simple, man. Once you got your opponent, dead to rights, fuck it. Continue pouring it on. Having Arthur Smith and the Aints head coach situation in the middle of the field type stuff every fucking game. Yeah. Do it. Because he's a bit passive at times, right? And it's come back and it's bite him in the ass, and we don't need to see that. We want a killer instinct.
And I agree with you. And you would think right?
Yeah. Oh man.
Hold on. We're not talking about Arthur Smith. That's Arthur Smith talking about.
Yeah.
Raheem, puts out good, and he wants to put out good energy, and sometimes that rubs people off the wrong way.
It does,
right? And he has admitted when he's been wrong, right? He admitted to where Michael, everyone thought it was a shot at Michael. No, it was a shot at himself, saying I shouldn't have put that all on him, right? I thought he was, ready, and when I didn't see it happen, I should have stepped in, right? So I know everyone's shaky. I know everyone likes to bring up Raheem's past, but guys, just like any other job, right? Everyone's like, it's not the same thing. This is a job, right? They have to fight to keep their job. For my older crowd, don't you think you're better than you were about 15 years ago when you first started working in whatever field you were? The answer is probably yes. Imagine you made a mistake 15 years ago that someone still dangles over your head and not give you the opportunity to get better, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone likes to say, I'm this Raheem, truther, and like, I can never see Raheem do wrong. No, I can see Raheem do wrong, but I can also see that people can grow and get better, right? True. Still made mistakes last year. He can do the same. And to Berto's point, he needs to learn to put his foot on their throat when they're down. Mm-hmm. And you would think, I hope he learned his lesson, because he's been on this team long enough and seen it.
Oh, yeah. Seen it firsthand.
He experienced it firsthand on this staff in 2016. Mm-hmm. So he knows what it's like. So that's where I agree. He needs to put his foot on the gas, tell Zac, don't let up, churn clock, and let's keep this thing on our end. Long sustained drives with points, and the defense needs to tighten up. Hold on. To Berto's point, I think Raheem might up the fourth down attempts even more. And you know what? Dude,
he was pretty good.
He was pretty good. We were one of the highest conversion teams, so he was pretty good on when to, when to go for it. But again, to Berto's point, that Washington game, Dan Quinn knew if he gave the ball back to us on those fourth and shorts, it wasn't going to turn out well, right? Mm-hmm. So the same thing, like, I cannot give them the ball back, because if I do, they will hurt us.
100%. 100%, man. This has been amazing, man. I actually love Raheem because I want him to work out, because I'm tired of changing coaches every few years. Absolutely. You got to root for the guy. Absolutely. What we want is to steal words from Terry, sustained success going forward. So that starts with head coach, players we bring in, and coaching staff we continue to build. So with Raheem, same goes for him, man.
I got a question for the chat, and you guys, tell me. We talk about changing coaches. What's the thought if we had Mike Tomlin as our coach and had 9-8 season after 9-8 season after 9-8 season, wild card exit? Now, granted, he did get a ring early in his coaching career as the head coach, but hasn't had the success since then. So, what have you? Would you rather have winning seasons every year, but not have playoff success? Or do you want to just keep hitting the restart button? Would you kick? Because Steeler fans apparently want Mike Tomlin gone. They're tired of him, nonchalant Mike Tomlin. I'm just curious because
that's a good question.
I mean, to Mike Tomlin's credit, he's very good at juggling personalities and know when to get rid of them, a la George Pickens not too long ago. That was a Mike Tomlin decision.
Right on. That's true. Like Rod says, man, Mike is a no mess guy.
I want Andy Reid type like we all do.
We all do, man. We all do, bro. Sheesh, man. I mean, and after Andy decides to walk away, it's gonna be Mike Tomlin. He's gonna be the next longest tenured guy, in the NFL ranks, or one of the longer tenured guys with the team, man. 100% will take option A. Give me a winning season, even if playoff success is shaky.
What say you, Berto? What would you do?
Oh shit, man! I'm all about winning.
So if you have a winning season every year, right? What's his stat? He has never had a losing season as a head coach.
Had one. Nope.
And he's shuffled coordinators. He went from Big Ben to now. I mean, winning with Kenny Pickett.
Right.
Winning season with Kenny Pickett. A washed Russell Wilson / Justin Fields. Yep. And now he's banking on Mason Rudolph being QB1.
And then when Kirk Cousins takes the field week 1 for the Steelers, oh my God! Now you gotta. I thought I just slipped that one in.
Oh no, man! You got to speak it into existence. Speak it into existence.
Oh yeah, brother.
Look, I know you watched the show.
Here we go.
Okay? Yeah, absolutely. A fifth rounder. What Kirk cost us this past draft? That's all it's gonna take, bro. Take about 10 mil of his salary from us. We're good. That's it.
Take a Dos Equis and
take a Dos Equis. You know what? Arthur Smith will love those. Just what? How about this? We'll take on TJ Watt's salary if you'll take on Kirk's salary. How about that? I'm just saying. Everybody laughed at me when I said TJ Watt. Ain't no way. Hey, man, anything can happen.
Oh my God. For Darnell Washington. Hey, look, man.
Hey, you know what?
I don't know.
I tell you what.
If he can block,
he would block the hell out of some edge defenders in the run game.
Absolutely, man. He's a mauler, man. He's a huge kid.
You know what? I think they don't utilize him enough in the pass game. To be honest with you. Imagine that
all
big man
red zone target.
Like Derrick Henry. Once those legs get going, man, it's hard to bring down.
Yeah, on a bubble screen, a tight end screen, just have him go. And you being such a profound creator for the screens, you should know that it will probably work.
Dude, give me a little tight end slip screen. Let the defense rush up. Tight end. Oh, block. Nope. Slip behind the offensive line up the middle, bro. Come on.
Let's do it, man.
Would you trade Kirk for Arthur Smith?
Shit.
No.
What did he say?
Kirk for Arthur Smith. Get out of here, dude.
Oh.
Get out of here, dude.
No way, man. No way. Brother, you want to add on everything before we part, man? This has been a great 55 minutes, just free-flowing talking Falcons offensive expectations in 2025. We covered a lot. We certainly hope you guys had fun joining us. To all 390 eyes that have been on, we certainly appreciate your time on a 9:30, close to 10:30 Eastern time timing here on Reporting Eligible. But yeah, bro, talk. What you got, bro? Anything you want to add?
Man. Hey, it's going to be a long off season. These other teams going to be running their mouth, right? Buccaneer fans, they're sitting high on their throne, not realizing that it's going to come crumbling down. Aints fans, for whatever reason, they feel like they have room to talk. I don't know. And then Panther fans, they get a little taste of success. It's been longer for them than us, and they want to, think that they run the South, right? It's going to be a long off season. Pick and choose your battles, right? Not everyone's worth your breath. And let's go have a hell of a 2025 season for the offense.
I got a side question for you because it was asked to me by a good friend of mine's Point Game Official on YouTube. He represents the Dirty Bird Bath on YouTube also. Okay. Great content creator. Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
What is his path to success in 2025? Do you think that he maintains the level of success that he's had the past couple years?
I think he dips a little bit. I think he's still going to have success. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to, as much as I hate the guy, I think he's one of the most overrated players. But he's still going to have success, but I don't think he'll have as much success because they're not taking into account, right? And much like people say about Michael Penix, I'm going to say this about their offensive coordinator. What's the likelihood that they strike gold 3 years in a row? It's not. It's not likely. Like, you got lucky that Dave Canales and Liam Cohen both hit. Bucky Irving,
absolutely,
as great a player as he is, he may not find the same success. It's all about game planning and flow, and can the guy handle it? Sure, he was part of the pass game special, the pass game coordinator. That's fine. You understand it. Maybe you keep your pass game the same. But if an ego enters the room and he's like, I want to change the entire run scheme, I mean,
gone.
What are you going to do? And then, Baker Mayfield will have Baker Mayfield moments, right? And what do I mean by that? He'll have a great throw, and then on a flea flicker, see his receiver double team, and he'll get picked off by Jesse Bates.
Get picked off, exactly. Or Xavier Watts, or Billy Bowman.
Or he gets strip sacked by Jalen Walker or James Pierce, because they're coming.
Let's talk about it. Absolutely. Which gives you a quick preview to next week's show. So tune in 9:30 next Wednesday night. We're talking defense, ladies and gentlemen. That's the next topic. We've already had these plans for well over a month, and we're closing in on our final one, and it's defense. But yes, to Baker's point, yeah, that's exactly the answer that I gave my guy. And I told him, I was like, listen, he struck gold with Dave Canales and Liam Cohen. Both guys were, ready to be head coaches. And I don't think he's gonna have the same success going into 2025. He's going to regress 100%.
And you guys will see me tweet this, right? I'm gonna prep you. There's the real Baker Mayfield.
Exactly.
As great a college athlete as he was,
there he is.
There's the real Baker Mayfield. The reason they let him go, and then he bounced from Carolina to LA and then Tampa. He got lucky. Okay.
Got lucky.
Now, a lot of people would be, hey, Sam Darnold, right? He got lucky, right? Jay Jettas, Jordan Addison, Kevin O'Connell, and look what happened. He got paid, right? He got paid. And now he's got Clint Kubiak with a Wash Cooper Cup and a JSN, right?
Whoo, man. Georgia, Texas boy, man. We'll close off with this one, man. We certainly appreciate your positivity as always. What's happening, Berto? Bro Talking Falcons family. The new era is here. The Atlanta Falcons will rise in 2025. With that said, Bro Talk, let them know where they can find you, brother.
Guys, Dirty Bird Central on YouTube. Bro Talk, Dirty Bird Central on TikTok. Daily posts. Everything Falcons. I'm still, guys, I got some personal things that are just tied up my time, but I'm still working on that defensive video. I'm really excited to drop for you guys. And then obviously daily tweeting at BK2. Still dragging my feet on changing that name to Dirty Bird Central. It's going to happen at some point, but that's where you can catch me.
Oh, man. Certainly a great night. We thank you all for tuning in. The super chats. Really, really appreciate those also. Hopefully you guys will be back next week as we talk defense. Maybe Ramsey, who knows? Has Ramsey followed you back, bro? He should. Fucking everybody under the sun has followed this man.
Hey,
and
man,
with great reasoning. The kid knows what he's talking about. So absolutely.
You're going to make me blush, all right? No, he has not.
Go ahead.
The one that I'm – who is it? Because Matt Ryan's not on Twitter. I'm waiting for Matt Ryan on Instagram. That's the one I'm chasing.
Cool.
That's the one I'm chasing.
Cool shit, man. That's awesome, man. So with that, I'm your boy Berto, host of the 95 North Falcons talk show on YouTube. You can also find me on Twitter under RI Falcons. And every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time on Bleacher Report, Falcons Weekly Topical as your host via me, your boy Berto. And until then, we will see you next Wednesday night, 9:30, reporting eligible out.